you are anything like me, then you hate conflict, which is ironic, right? Because I'm a conflict specialist, but there was a day when I would do anything I could to avoid an uncomfortable situation or a conflict, even if it meant that I had poor boundaries and I agreed to do things that I didn't want to do, and I put my own needs and desires aside in order to keep the peace. But as it turns out, that's not sustainable. It's not really advisable, and honestly, it's kind of a stupid way to go through life because conflict happens. It's inevitable. And the fact of the matter is that it's not all bad. It's how we negotiate through all kinds of things. It's how we learn and grow and develop and improve relationships. And if you're spending all of your time trying to avoid it, then you're missing out on a lot. But what happens if someone like me, who is conflict avoidant, gets into a relationship with someone who is high conflict? Well, then, you might shut down and you might agree to all kinds of things that aren't good for you. And we do things that we don't want to do, and we develop these anti-conflict strategies and habits that actually increase conflict in the long term. And we rewire our brain to do unhealthy things, right? And another thing that we might end up doing is justifying and arguing and explaining, and we engage in a conflict pattern that we know isn't going to go anywhere. Our conflict trigger just gets flipped, and we participate in these word salad arguments that go nowhere, and it gets harder and harder to stop. So how do you stop? How do you get started by stopping? I think you do nothing. You take a breath. You take a beat. You hear the clock ticking. You get out of your body. You get in your body. You feel your butt in the chair. And that can be really hard to do when you get really triggered. So there are these somatic exercises that you can do to help us disengage from conflict. And there are a lot of wonderful therapists who are out there teaching a lot of these strategies. And it's one of the first things I do when I start working with clients. So that when we're about to enter into a conflict, we develop these strategies to not just do something, but to sit there. That's how you start.